stars on...
Eyes of the baseball world are now focused on Cooperstown as Hall of Fame induction weekend is now in full swing. We start our Otsego County coverage tonight on Main Street. That's where we find News Channel 2's Jason Pallas live for us tonight. Jay, good evening.
Ben, good evening. Crowds started to trickle in today as it is Hall of Fame weekend here in Cooperstown. Tourism, a very big part of what takes place here in the village, and it is a village that is welcoming to all. Now, I caught up with Mayor Ellen Tillepaugh today, and she tells me so much has been done to the village to make sure all feel welcome, including improvements to Doubleday Field and Fowler Way leading up to the field. She made a great point. Where else in America can you find over 50 Hall of Famers parading down a main street? Nowhere, because it's so unique. And now, on top of the $7.4 million in improvements to Doubleday, Fowler Way also set to get a boost.
We feel very passionate about Bud Fowler, John Jackson, who was inducted into the Hall of Fame 2 years ago. And he is a native. He grew up in Cooperstown and has been formally recognized. So we're thrilled that not only do we have an entrance to our Doubleday Field complex named Fowler Way, which will see improvements, but we finally have signage to really acknowledge Fowler Pavilion, named for this native son.
For life?
And just last week, the village revealed the new signage of the Fowler Pavilion, of course, both named after Hall of Famer and Cooperstown native Bud Fowler, inducted just 2 years ago. Now, with folks coming into town wondering if there's anything else other than baseball, not to worry. All of that is available, from great food to specialty shops to getting out on the lake, maybe renting a canoe. They have it all. And they are, of course, batting cages, places to get autographs, baseball cards for those who love it. And when you're done baseballing, if you will, maybe check out other museums in the area.
If you are interested in checking out some of our other museums, we have a wonderful exhibition at the Fenimore Art Museum featuring works by Bob Dylan and Banksy, so you absolutely have to stop by and check that out, as well as the Farmers Museum across the street. And of course, if you want to just kick back and grab some beers, absolutely start at Omegang, hit up the beverage trail, and if you want to get a little bit of exercise, we have rail riders where you just sit, pedal, and explore scenic Cooperstown.
Caitlin says there are still hotel rooms between here and Oneonta available. You can call the chamber or check out their website for more information. Now, photojournalist Kirk Tupai and I have been here early this morning. We got here, and yeah, we got to hang out with some Hall of Famers. Pretty cool. Turn 2 with Ozzie. It was great. Ozzie Smith, a chance for young fans to experience Jim Cott, Fred McGriff, and Scott Rowland. What an opportunity to learn from the best. 2 hours with these guys, and I can tell you, they were just as excited as the fans were.
Yeah, I think we relish doing things like this. I think that's part of wearing the mantle of being a Hall of Famer. And you want to do this because you're in a unique position to influence people and to help people.
We're now able to take the guys that played the game the right way and bring them out here and give people an opportunity to visit with them on a one-on-one level. And I think that's what fans look for.
The event is an annual fundraiser for the museum's educational programs. Great time, perfect weather too. All right, let's set the scene for the rest of the weekend now. On Saturday, as Hall of Fame induction weekend continues at 3 o'clock, it's the awards presentation ceremony at the Alice Bush Opera Theater. Then at 6 o'clock, it's what everyone's waiting for, the Hall of Fame parade. It's right down on Main Street, the Parade of Legends, if you will. Then on Sunday, Hall of Fame inductions at 1:30 p.m. at the Clark Sports Center. Adrian Beltre, Todd Helton, Jim Leland, Joe Mauer, all will be inducted in front of thousands of fans. And then Hall of Fame induction Monday, 10:30 a.m. It's the Legends of the Game Roundtable, the Hall of Famers that will be inducted on Sunday. Get to sit down and you get to hear some stories from them. That's at Doubleday Field. Hey, so much more to talk about later on in the next half hour. We're going to hear from Spencer and John. They were here all day. They've got some Hall of Famers. And I had the chance to talk with the Hall of Fame president. That's coming up in just a little bit as well. So much going on here this weekend, Ben. I know you're jealous. You want to be down here,
yeah,
but
just a little
thanks
bit
for holding down the fort up there. I'll send it back to you.
Of course. Thank you very much, Jason. Coming up later, Wynn Hospital has a brand new...
Thanks so much for joining us for our coverage here in Cooperstown for Hall of Fame Weekend 2024. I like to do this every year. I like to get caught up with the president of the Hall of Fame, Josh Rotich. And Josh, it's been an amazing year since you and I last got together. So much has happened, including the selection of this year's Hall of Fame class. But first I want to talk about the Hall of Fame. Give us the state of the Hall, if you will, right now.
Things are honestly in tremendous shape. Our attendance is up, our membership is up. Really all the metrics that we look at tells us that people are coming to Cooperstown all the time, and when they come, they want to come to this place. So really things couldn't be in a better spot than they are heading into Hall of Fame weekend.
You also have beautiful weather on your side. It's not as hot and humid as it has been. Do you think you'll see a little bit more walk-up when it comes to fans on Sunday?
That certainly helps. I mean, we don't necessarily have an inductee this year from a city that's drivable, but at the same time, I think we're looking at tens of thousands of people, as always, filling up the area where we host the induction, and streets are already closed. It's just going to be a perfect weekend. Hopefully this weather holds.
There's already people camping out for seats for the Hall of Fame parade, which over the last, I say, 5 years has really exploded.
Yeah, that actually, I think a lot of the fans who come say it's arguably their favorite part of the whole weekend. You get a chance to watch these guys go right by you from 10, 15 feet away. We've got 50-plus returning Hall of Famers making their way to Main Street, and I think the streets will be completely packed tomorrow night when that thing starts.
Before we talk about this year's class, are there a couple of guys, because you're a baseball fan, you grew up a baseball fan, you've been in baseball for years, are there a couple of guys you still pinch yourself and go, I'm standing here talking to him?
The answer is yes, but I'm telling you, it's every one of them. I mean, when you grow up the way we all love the game, the idea that you can sit and talk to any Hall of Famer with regularity and just as normal humans and talk about their families and their lives, I don't think it will ever get old for any of us that have the ability to do that.
I just got to talk to Jim Cott, and that was one of my favorite conversations. And I've sat down with many a Hall of Famer, and I find myself being a fan when you're talking to them.
Absolutely. It's funny, Jim was just in my office before an event this morning, and he brought with him his glove from the 60s and 70s to use at Doubleday Field for an event we have this morning. So, I mean, these guys love coming back as much as we love having them back. And when you have, I think we have about 75 living Hall of Famers, and two-thirds, if not three-quarters of them come back every year, that tells you how much it means to them.
It does. Let's talk about this year's class real quick. I think a stellar group, and I say led by Jim Leland, because I watched Jim Leland coach for so many years, so passionate about what he did, and his players too. That's what really sets him apart from the rest.
He's beloved by everybody in the game. He loves being here. He came in after he got elected, he came out for his orientation, and you could just see he was so emotional just walking the halls and realizing, I'm going to have this place in Cooperstown forever. I think he's going to give an incredible speech. I got a quick early look at it, and I think he's going to have this place in tears on Sunday.
And for some of the younger fans that might remember, you know, the Hiltons playing and the Beltres playing, and of course Joe Mauer, Minnesota, well represented here this year.
We figured with Minnesota and Colorado, it's two guys who played their entire career in one place, and that they become a part of that town. So I have no doubt we're going to have a lot of Denver and Minnesota here. Texas should show well as well. They just had the All-Star game, so that's a lot of the people probably went to that and then had to turn around and come to Cooperstown. But they're all those cities, and all 30 cities are really 30 teams are going to be represented.
Last question, because I know you've got a lot to do today, and we appreciate you taking the time. Can you tell me, if someone's watching you for the first time and they're like, Cooperstown, what's that all about? In a couple of sentences, how do you get them to come here and see what this place has to offer?
Well, it's on everybody's bucket list, and so what I tell people is take it off the bucket list, get it on your to-do list. I mean, there's so much more to do here than just the Hall of Fame. An amazing golf course and other museums and restaurants and shops, and people spend their whole life wanting to come here, and when they come, it always lives up to their expectations. So we hope people will come make it. We'll hope they'll find a way to find us online and engage, and we're looking forward to an amazing weekend.
Josh Rotich, President of the Hall of Fame, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Jace. Appreciate it.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Much more to come on the Live at 5 News Hour. Stay with us.
Hall of Fame festivities continuing tonight. In the thick of it all, we find News Channel 2 Sports Director Spencer Davidson, along with John Serio. They're live tonight from Cooperstown. Good evening, fellas.
Good evening, Ben. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, we are out here in beautiful Cooperstown, New York. What a day it is. Induction Weekend 2024 is here. The biggest weekend of the year in these parts, and it's certainly gotten off to a great start. We've got a really stellar class, the class of 2024. 3 Hall of Fame caliber players and a Hall of Fame manager going in and joining the highest fraternity, the game of baseball.
This is what it's all about in the game of baseball. We're here at the Mecca of baseball, Cooperstown, and among those players and the manager going in, one of them, Adrian Beltre, spent over 20 years with 4 ball clubs. We have Jim Leland, over 20 seasons at the helm of 4 ball clubs. And then we have 2 individual players who spent all their time with just 1 squad. Todd Helton with the Colorado Rockies for 17 years, as well as Mr. Joe Mauer from the Minnesota Twins, a 15-year veteran. We're going to start with Adrian Beltre. Now, we told you he's been in the majors for 21 seasons. He firmly established himself as one of the greatest all-around third basemen to ever play the game. Beltre amassed 5 Gold Glove awards and 4 Silver Slugger awards in his career. Good for second best among players to play at least half of their games at third base. Among his eye-popping statistics, he has over 3,000 career hits and 450 home runs. He hit 300 or better 7 times in his career, had a 20 home run season 12 times, and had 5 seasons with at least 100 RBIs. Beltre is a 4-time All-Star and is the 5th player born in the Dominican Republic to be elected to the Hall of Fame.
Well, next up, another first ballot Hall of Famer, Joe Mauer, and what a bat it was. In his 15 seasons in Minnesota, he was the first and only catcher to win 3 American League and National League Batting League titles. In 2006, he became the first catcher in AL history to win the batting crown and added another honor to his 2008 and 2009 campaigns. In that 09 season, Mauer was named the AL's most valuable player with a .365 batting average and became the first catcher with a minimum of 100 games played to lead the league in OPS. He was a 6-time All-Star, 5-time Silver Slugger Award winner, and 3-time Gold Glove Award winner. He's one of only 4 former first overall picks in the MLB draft to be elected to the Hall of Fame, joining the likes of John Serio's favorite player, Ken Griffey Jr., also Harold Baines, and Chipper Jones, who you'll hear from at 6, by the way, a little tease there. Mauer is the only catcher in history with 2,000 hits, a career 300 batting average, and a .380 on-base percentage.
And next up to the plate is Todd Helton, a 17-year Rockies legend, one of the less than 2 dozen players in history to have played at least 1,000 games, hit for 300 in his career, have a .400 on-base percentage, and a .500 slugging percentage. Helton is a 5-time All-Star with the Rockies and had enough of an arm to play QB at the University of Tennessee in between some guys named Heath Schuler and Peyton Manning. Now, fittingly enough, he's going from Rocky Top to the Rockies. In 2000, Helton won the National League batting title, and in 2000 and 2001, he tallied more than 400 total bases each year, one of only 4 players to accomplish that feat in back-to-back seasons. The legendary first baseman is also a 3-time Gold Glove Award winner and a 4-time Silver Slugger Award winner.
And last, but certainly not least, our final inductee this year is the legendary manager Jim Leland. In his 22 seasons as a skipper, he led Pittsburgh, Florida, Colorado, and Detroit to more than 1,700 victories. He also had 6 first-place finishes, 3 pennants, and a World Series win with the Marlins in 1997. Leland earned Manager of the Year honors 3 times in his career, twice in the early 90s with Pittsburgh and again in 2006 with Detroit. He has the 2nd most win among managers who never played in the major leagues. Leland was also at the helm for Team USA as they won the World Baseball Classic in 2017. That's the first time that the U.S. ever won that championship. I still remember watching that game, and I was going nuts after that. Lots of great accomplishments. What a deserving class, but even more so than their on-field accomplishments, these guys just so humbled to be going into baseball's Hall of Fame.
They know what an honor this is. The moment's not lost on them, and they appreciate every second of this weekend, of this whole time here in Cooperstown.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just incredible. You've got so many people here, Hall of Famers past and present, and we're going to hear from some of those previous legends of the game about this year's class coming up tonight at 6. For now, from Cooperstown, Spencer Davison and John Serio. Ben, we'll send it back up Smith Hill and Utica to you.
All righty, Spencer, thank you very much. Let's get a first look. Are converging on Cooperstown as the Hall of Fame induction weekend is here. Let's head down to Main Street. That's where we find News Channel 2's Jason Pallas, where he's live to help get us set for the weekend festivities. Jay, good evening.
Ben, good evening. Crowds are starting to trickle in today as the Hall of Fame weekend is upon us. This is one of the first times we've ever had this awesome view with Main Street behind us. You can see right down Main Street to the flag and on down to the Hall of Fame. Some fans, hey, they've been here all week long. I had the chance to make my way up and down Main Street several times today, and what caught my eye were all the chairs lining the street. Of course, Main Street shut down to traffic, so best way to travel is walk or take the trolleys. The fans are already set for tomorrow night's Hall of Fame Parade of Legends. Over 50 of the best to ever play the game are returning to greet fans for its annual trip, for some of their annual trip, and it's one they don't dare miss.
It's the best. Like I said, I feel like the unofficial Grand Marshal of the parade. You know, we are right at the beginning. I'm lined up with the red carpet. It's a special event.
What makes this so cool that you have to be here every year and get that spot across the hall?
Baseball in general, it just brings families and everybody together. It's just a great experience.
We met fans from Minnesota, Colorado, Detroit, Florida, you name it, Cooperstown. It's the late July place to be, don't you know? And with folks just coming into town wondering what is there to do, other things going on than baseball, oh, there's plenty going on, that's for sure. No worry about that. All of it's available, from great food to specialty shops, getting out on the lake, maybe renting a canoe. They have it all. There, of course, are places to get autographs, baseball cards for those that love that. And when you're done baseballing, maybe you could check out the museums in the area, from the Farmers Museum to Fenimore Art Museum, Cooperstown. They've got it all.
We have, batting cages. We have, if you go up to the Red Shed Brewery, they have a wonderful picnic space. There's live music happening all over the town. And, there are small art galleries. There's absolutely awesome shopping. A wonderful new jewelry store owned by Jess Gorman. So when you have some time, it's just explore the village.
Caitlin says between here and Oneonta, there are still places to stay, and parking is available. Some folks still have signs up on their front lawn, $20 to park. All worth it because you're just going to walk around here anyway. Now, I caught up with Mayor Ellen Tillapaw today, and she tells me so much has been done to the village to just make sure it's all feel welcome. Take a look, including improvements to Doubleday Field and Fowler Way leading up to the field. She made a great point. Where else in America can you see over 50 Hall of Famers right in front of you parading down Main Street? Nowhere, because it's unique. Millions have gone into upgrades at Doubleday Field, and now Fowler Way is going to get a boost through New York Forward.
We're thrilled that we're a New York Forward community, and one of the selected projects, selected by the Department of State, is our Fowler Way. And we will soon have ADA compliant sidewalk and total accessibility to our first base bleachers.
For life? What?
Great time for the village and all it has to offer tourists. So let's get you caught up on what's going on this weekend. On Saturday, 3 o'clock, awards presentation is at the Alish Bush Opera Theater. At 6 o'clock, the Parade of Legends right down Main Street in Cooperstown. Then on Sunday at 1:30, it's the induction ceremony at the Clark Sports Center. Adrian Beltre, Todd Helton, Jim Leland, Joe Mauer, all going to be inducted. And then the Hall of Fame induction weekend wraps up on Monday with the 10:30 a.m. Legends of the Game Roundtable at Doubleday Field. And one last quick note. Rick Kelly has been working at the Hall of Fame for 32 years. He's going to retire in December, so this is his last Hall of Fame weekend. His wife Tammy and his daughters Morgan and Caitlin, very proud of him. We are as well. And I want to mention real quick that he is, well, now I'm waiting for my phone to come back in, but 32 years.
Wow.
God bless him.
Yeah,
He
absolutely.
helps keep people safe at the Hall of Fame. So that's going to do it for us down here. I'll send it back to you, Ben.
All right, Jason, thank you very much. Coming up on News Channel 2 at 6, we check
Evening, everybody. We are back here live in Cooperstown. Baseball Hall of Fame induction weekend is underway. We are in front of the National Baseball Hall of Fame as we speak. 4 new members set to be enshrined in these hallowed halls behind us. 3 incredible players, 1 unforgettable manager, and they're going to be joining the highest fraternity in baseball here in just a couple of days.
That's right, Spencer. Among those 3 players, they combined for an incredible 53 years in the major leagues. And in addition to that, the one manager, Jim Leland, 22 years across the span of 4 different ball clubs.
Yeah, now Main Street and all around Cooperstown, you could feel the buzz. Fans from all over came to town for some of their favorite legends of the game. This year's class consists of legendary third baseman Adrian Beltre, catcher Joe Mauer, first baseman Todd Helton, and manager Jim Leland. But they weren't the only legends in town and won't be all weekend. In fact, we ran into a few of them, John.
Yeah, that's right. Fans were lining up for autographs, signings with former Hall of Famers like Chipper Jones and Jack Morris, as well as additional legends of the game like the incomparable Pete Rose. It was a treat not only for the fans of the game, but for former players of the game as well. But don't take our word for it. You can hear what they had to say themselves about what it's like to be back in Cooperstown and their thoughts on the 2024 Hall of Fame class.
It's fun. Any baseball fan that's never experienced this, I recommend it. Not because I'm here at all, but because it really represents all of baseball. You know, a Yankee fan could actually tolerate a Red Sox fan here. So, you know, it's one of those deals where everybody, it's about the love of baseball, and I think Cooperstown represents it better than anywhere else. You don't get into Cooperstown through the back door. You've got to earn it. Every one of these guys has earned it.
Beltre was a beast. Golly, you talk about playing the third base position, 3,000 hits, 500 homers. But he was one of my favorite players to watch always because he seemed to be having more fun than anybody else. You know, he was always cutting up, always having a good time. I enjoy watching people like that. Todd Helton, Joe Mauer, just prototypical professional hitters, guys that you didn't want to see come to the plate in the 8th and 9th inning with the game on the line because you knew they have that clutch gene that were going to come through. So all of them most deserving, and Jim Leland was one of those guys that could go tit for tat with Bobby Cox in the managerial seat, and you just knew whenever him and his teams came in, they were going to come in ready to play.
Anytime you're in any class in the Hall of Fame, it's an honor. And I didn't play against any of those guys. I'm talking about Joe and Beltre and the rest of the group. But you don't make the Hall of Fame unless you're deserving. And especially Joe Mauer, it's hard to make a Hall of Fame as a catcher. Although I played with the greatest catcher ever, Johnny Bench. So, but he was a really good hitting catcher. It's hard to be a good hitter and be a catcher. It's always a pleasure to come back here. There's so much history for the game of baseball, and it seems like everybody that's here is always happy. That's the one thing I like about Cooperstown.
Well, the Hit King isn't wrong, John. Lots of happy faces here in Cooperstown with induction weekend underway. The festivities have only just begun, though. The class of 2024, Adrian Beltre, Joe Mauer, Todd Helton, and Jim Leland will all be officially enshrined during the ceremony at Clark Sports Center on Sunday at 1:30 p.m. More than 50 Hall of Famers expected to be on hand this weekend. Very exciting times. You really never know who you're going to see walking around town.
You know what I think? I think we've discovered the fountain of youth for baseball fans, because it doesn't matter how old you are, when you come to the Baseball Hall of Fame here in Cooperstown, you're like a kid again. It's magic. And however, there is some reality, unfortunately, that affected this weekend's events. There was a outage with some software updates, the crowd strike, was it? And well, a few of the Hall of Famers, they were planning to make it here today. They didn't make it, unfortunately, due to flight delays, including them, former Yankees, Goose Gossage, Mariano Rivera, and others. It's just Ricky Henderson as well. It's pretty sad, but they are planning to make it tomorrow. That is the positive.
Yeah, we heard at least 6 Hall of Famers couldn't make it in their original scheduled flights coming in for tonight, but all expected tomorrow for the Parade of Legends. Luckily, though, we do have some time before Sunday's main event. Certainly never a dull moment here in Cooperstown, especially on induction weekend, which is here, 2024 induction weekend, and 4 new members just a couple of days away from being enshrined in Cooperstown. Spencer Davison and John Serio, for News Channel 2 Sports. We'll be right back to wrap things up after the break.
The baseball fans are converging on Cooperstown as the Hall of Fame induction weekend is here. The event's kicked off today with fans arriving from all over the country to experience what Cooperstown has to offer. The fans are already set for tomorrow night's Fame Parade. The game are returning to greet fans, and for some, it's an annual trip, one they don't want to miss.
It's the best. Like I said, I feel like the unofficial grand marshal of the parade. You know, we are right at the beginning. I'm lined up with the red carpet. It's a special event.
What makes this so cool that you have to be here every year and get that spot across the hall?
Baseball in general, it just brings families and everybody together. And it's just a great experience.
Fans from all across the globe, including Minnesota, Colorado, Detroit, Florida, you name it, they're probably in Cooperstown. Now, there isn't just baseball in Cooperstown, from great food to specialty shops to even just getting out on the lake. They have it all. There are, of course, places to get autographs, baseball cards, and when you're done getting all that memorabilia, you can also check out other museums in the area, the Farmers Museum, all the way down to the Fenimore Art Museum. Cooperstown has it all.
We have, batting cages. We have, if you go up to the Red Shed Brewery, they have a wonderful picnic space. There's live music happening all over the town. And, there are small art galleries. There's absolutely awesome shopping, a wonderful new jewelry store owned by Jess Gorman. So when you have some time, it's just explore the village.
And believe it or not, Caitlin says between here and Cooperstown and Oneonta, there are still places to stay and parking still available at some homes as well. A spotlight was cast on all the improvements done in the village of Cooperstown and Doubleday Field. There is nowhere else in America that you can find baseball Hall of Famers marching down the street, and that's why the village put millions into making the community a welcoming place for all.
We're thrilled that we're a New York Forward community, and one of the selected projects, selected by the Department of State, is our Fowler Way. And we will soon have ADA compliant sidewalk and total accessibility to our first base bleachers.
The events for the weekend, what everybody's looking forward to. Tomorrow, 3 p.m., the awards presentation at the Alice Bush Opera Theater. Then, at 6 p.m., the Legends March down Main Street. The Hall of Fame Parade of Legends right on Main Street in Cooperstown. Sunday, the main event, Induction Day at 1:30, right at Clark Sports Center. Adrian Beltre, Tom Helton, Jim Leland, and Joe Mauer all entering baseball immortality. Hall of Fame weekend wraps up on Monday with the Legends of the Game Roundtable at Doubleday Field at 10:30 a.m. That's right at Doubleday Field. I covered it last year, and wow, what an experience. If you get the chance to go, go. New tonight, a mother and son from Otsego County, our fans of baseball fans, are converging on Cooperstown as Hall of Fame induction weekend is here. The event's all kicked off today. Fans arriving from all over the country to experience what the town has to offer. The fans are already set for tomorrow night's Hall of Fame Parade of Legends. Over 50 of the best players to ever play the game are returning to greet fans, and for some, it's an annual trip, one they don't want to miss.
It's the best. Like I said, I feel like the unofficial grand marshal of the parade. We are right at the beginning. I'm lined up with the red carpet. It's a special event.
What makes this so cool that you have to be here every year and get that spot across the hall?
Baseball in general, it just brings families and everybody together. And it's just a great experience.
Fans from all across the globe, including Minnesota, Colorado, Detroit, Florida, you name it, they're probably in Cooperstown. Now, there isn't just baseball in Cooperstown, from great food to specialty shops, even just getting out on the lake. They have it all. There are, of course, places to get autographs and baseball cards for those that are interested. But once you're done getting all that memorabilia, maybe you could check out some of the other museums in the area. From the Farmers Museum to the Fenimore Art Museum, Cooperstown has it all.
We have, batting cages. We have, if you go up to the Red Shed Brewery, they have a wonderful picnic space. There's live music happening all over the town. And, you know, there are small art galleries. There's absolutely awesome shopping. A wonderful new jewelry store owned by Jess Gorman. So when you have some time, it's just explore the village.
Believe it or not, Caitlin says between Cooperstown and Oneonta, there are actually still plenty of places to stay. Parking available at some homes in the village as well. Now, a spotlight was cast on all the improvement done in the village of Cooperstown and Doubleday Field. Nowhere else in America can you find baseball players, Hall of Fame baseball players no less, marching down the street. That's why the village put millions into making the community welcoming for everyone.
We're thrilled that we're a New York Forward community, and one of the selected projects, selected by the Department of State, is our Fowler Way. And we will soon have ADA compliant sidewalk and total accessibility to our first base bleachers.
Believe it or not, Caitlin says between Cooperstown and Oneonta, there are still places to stay. Here's a look at the big events for the weekend. Hall of Fame induction weekend continues tomorrow, 3 p.m. The awards presentation at the Alice Bush Opera Theater. And at 6, the big parade, the Parade of Legends, right down Main Street. On Sunday, the main event, Adrian Beltre, Todd Helton, Jim Leland, and Joe Mauer all become part of baseball immortality. The induction ceremony, 1:30 p.m. at the Clark Sports Center. Hall of Fame induction weekend concludes on Monday with the Legends of the Game Roundtable at 10:30 a.m. at Doubleday Field. New tonight, a mother and son from Otsego